Hello, I'm Tamara from the Faculty of Organization and Informatics, University of Zagreb. In the next few minutes, I will present the paper, The Rule of Different Forms of Capital in Starting and Developing an Entrepreneurial Venture, the case of entrepreneurs in the beauty services industry. The paper was made in partnership with Sara CIKAC. The paper seeks to explore the importance of financial resources and tangible assets, or economic capital, knowledge and skills, or human capital, and relationships, acquaintances, and formal networks, or social capital, in starting a business and enterprise development. The aim is to identify forms of capital that entrepreneurs engage in business and to examine which of the three observed types of capital, economic, human, or social, is the most important in business. The focus of the research is on the personal perceptions of entrepreneurs from the beauty services industry in Međimurje County in the Republic of Croatia. To our knowledge, the topic of entrepreneurial capital has not been studied so far in the beauty services industry in the Republic of Croatia. Therefore, the paper contributes to fresh insights into the capital configuration of entrepreneurs within a specific industry. French philosopher and sociologist Pierre Bourdieu defines capital as accumulated labor, which exclusively appropriated enables actors to produce and reproduce the benefits in various life projects. For Bourdieu, capital is a fundamental exchange mechanism that maintains existing and legitimizes new power relations in social reality. Bourdieu's great contribution is that he breaks down traditional beliefs about capital as an exclusively economic concept. According to Bourdieu, capital can be materialized in several forms. Thus, in addition to material and financial capital or economic capital, he speaks about social capital, human capital, which he expands using the concept of cultural capital and symbolic capital. With such views, Bourdieu significantly expands the concept of capital and removes the boundaries between the understanding of capital in economics and sociology. It is therefore not surprising that many entrepreneurship researchers find conceptual support in his theory. Thus, for example, Firkin defines entrepreneurial capital as the total capital of an individual, economic capital, social capital, and personal, including human capital, which is variable from the perspective of the entrepreneurial process. Within a theoretical basis in the resource-based view, Firkin's concept combines different forms of entrepreneurial capital, recognizes the possibility of their multiple compositions, and emphasizes that the subject of the interest of researchers should be only valuable resources of individual entrepreneurs. In this paper, we start from Firkin's understanding of entrepreneurial capital as a mix of the economic, social, and human capital of entrepreneurs. Therefore, before discussing the research methodology, we present the theoretical foundations of each of these forms of capital. Economic capital refers to money and other material resources or institutionalized rights that are directly convertible into money. It is manifested through income, saving, intellectual property, and tangible assets, and it is at the root of all types of capital. Social capital is contained in relationships and networks of contacts of friends and acquaintances. It is a very important form of capital since it has a positive impact on the area of human resources, such as the impact on success in career, employee turnover, and job search assistance, as well as in organizational areas, such as the impact on resource exchange among organizational units, entrepreneurship, supplier relations, networks, and organizational learning. Human capital is a concept that emphasizes the importance of knowledge, education, and skills of the workforce for economic development. Research on the role of human capital in entrepreneurship have a long tradition. The human capital of an entrepreneur influences the identification of business opportunities and the ability to attract external investors, determining access to financial capital for starting a business. Human capital also has a positive effect on the ability to survive and grow in the later stage of enterprise life cycle. The traditional theory of human capital has its extension in Bourdieu's concept of cultural capital. According to Bourdieu, cultural capital refers to the sum of the symbolic means of an actor that enables him to retain or appropriate a certain class status. There are three forms of cultural capital. Cultural capital in the institutionalized state, for example, formal education, certificates. Then cultural capital in the embodied state, such as work experience and manners. And cultural capital in objectified state, such as an individual physical appearance and his or her cultural goods. In accordance with the theory, the study starts from the following research questions. What forms of economic, human, and social capital are used by Croatian entrepreneurs in the beauty services industry? What is the role of economic, human, and social capital in starting an entrepreneurial venture and enterprise development in the beauty services industry? The conducted research is based on a qualitative methodological approach. Empirical data was collected from primary and secondary sources. Primary data refers to data collected through in-depth interviews with entrepreneurs and conducting observations during the interview. The interview participants were entrepreneurs who own hairdressing salons or beauty salons that operated in Međimurje County at the time of research was conducted. In addition to primary data, secondary data was collected, such as data from the company's website and data on the entrepreneur's activities on social networks. The analysis of qualitative data was carried out in several phases. Listening to audio recordings, transcript writing, coding, and researchers' conclusions. Coding was carried out by identifying a large number of open codes, selecting the most common and important open codes, and grouping the codes into categories. As shown in this table, the purposeful sample was consists of 5 female entrepreneurs operating in the selected industry. To protect the anonymity of the participants, the names of the participants and the names of their companies were replaced by pseudonyms. Also, before the interview, the participants were asked for permission to record the interview. Shown in figure 2, the findings suggest that different forms of capital are interrelated, and entrepreneurs use one form of capital to access other forms of capital. When it comes to economic capital for starting a business, it is often obtained by engaging social capital. Namely, entrepreneurs mostly received it from sources such as personal family saving and loans and state aid. The initial financial capital was mainly needed in the context of procurement of work equipment and furniture, while most entrepreneurs did not invest in business premises. In addition to procuring startup financial capital, social capital embodied in strong ties plays an important role in finding business equipment and employees. Namely, most of the respondents received information about potential employees and equipment of appropriate and the quality of appropriate work equipment in communication with friends and acquaintances in the industry. Economic capital also play an important role in the context of investing in a company's cultural capital in objectified state. Respondents agree that dressing a sound owner and employees is just as important as code of conduct. Therefore, all respondents pay significant attention to aesthetics of the salon and themselves. When it comes to human capital, 3 interviewees have formal education in the beauty services industry, while the remaining 2 responders acquire specific knowledge through education outside the formal education system. Most of the responders gained knowledge in the industry through work experience, which all except one interview consider being an extremely important factor in the success of the company. Work experience is also an important criterion for selecting employees. This view is shared by all respondents, except one who believes that the opportunity should be also given to those candidates who have no work experience. Although they consider formal education important, the respondents invest the most time, money, and effort in specialist education and training. Regarding the role of formal certificates obtained by attending various courses, the opinions of the respondents are divided. Some respondents believe that certificates are important and affect the image of the company created by the client. Others think that is only paper that does not guarantee the quality, and the actual quality of services is much more important than the certificate. Formally and informally acquired human capital of entrepreneurs along with location is crucial in building the competitive advantage of companies. 3 of our 5 responders promote themselves and their salon by sharing knowledge about the work they do. According to them, the transfer of knowledge to others is an important factor in the accumulation of economic capital and can determine success in this industry. The role of social capital based on strong ties for these entrepreneurs is great, especially in the early stage of business. Gathering information important for starting a business, most respondents rely on the support of friends and family. In the later stage of business, the expansion of volume of the social networks and the building of social ties of bridging nature play an important role. In everyday business, the expansion of network is achieved through intensive activities on social networks such as Facebook and Instagram, and by attending trade fairs related to the industry. The social capital of the company is also reflected in formal and informal cooperation with other entrepreneurs in the industry and beyond. This is a practice used by most responders in enriching social capital, and it mainly refers to cooperation with hairdressers, photographers, and designers from the local area. The research has several contributions. The empirical knowledge provides an original insights into the resource dynamics of entrepreneurship in the beauty services industry, indicating how the lack of one form of capital, such as economic capital, can be compensated by another form of capital, such as social capital. The research is significant because it covers a specific industry within which, to our knowledge, similar research has not been conducted. When it comes to the practical implications, the results suggest that government financial support for self-employment can play a significant role in starting a business in this industry. The findings also show that sharing knowledge through social networks and investing in cultural capital in the objectified state potentially contribute to building a company's reputation. Therefore, existing entrepreneurs in this industry should be aware of the importance of these practices in the development of entrepreneurial ventures. And that's all for me. Thank you very much for your attention.